Hello everybody, here we are today doing my CFL Week 3 picks, and before we get started with that, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or the CFL, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. So Week 2 treated me better for picks than Week 1 did, and we're hoping that Week 3 can be even better for myself. And the first game of the week is going to be the Ottawa Redblacks traveling over to Montreal. This one should be really fun, and I know every week we say, this game should be fun, this game should be fun, but I think this genuinely could be a good one, as at the start of the year I said the Red Blacks could be better. I said Montreal is probably going to be in contention for the East Division, and in the first game for the Red Blacks in the Drew Brown era, mind you, they beat his previous team, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and are undefeated, of course, which is nice because there's been a lot of losing in recent years for Ottawa fans. And I feel like this has got to be the most hopeful they've been in a very, very long time. Now, of course, did weather play a factor there? You could probably argue yes, you could argue no. Thing is, though, they're able to beat the Blue Bombers and they take on the Alouettes, who are 2-0 and look like they're in good spot right now to possibly claim the East Division. I know it's very early in the year, but if they win this game, they will be 3-0, and they have, of course, home field advantage. And this one, I see this more as the potential for Ottawa to go out there and make a statement and say, no, we are the real deal. We're going to make the playoffs for the first time since 2018. We're going to possibly even have a winning record. We want to show everybody that we mean business, whereas Montreal, if they do this, are able to say, yeah, we're definitely top of the East again. We beat Winnipeg just like you did. We beat them in the Grey Cup when it mattered, and we had a year to build off from last season as we look to be the best team in the East, and maybe by the end of the year be the best team in the CFL. But I think at the end of the day, I'm going to be picking the Montreal Alouettes in this one, simply because they've been able to prove since late last season that they are the team to beat. They went on a long win streak towards the end of the year, including the playoffs, and are possibly going to be undefeated after the first 3 weeks of the season. Ottawa, meanwhile, got a close win with some weather-related incidents there, and I want to be able to say, oh yes, I believe in them like Montreal's been able to show me I can believe in them at the moment. And then the second game of the week is also going to be a doozy, as well as you have the BC Lions traveling to Winnipeg to play the Blue Bombers, and this one will be fun because these two teams have met in the Western Final the past 2 years, and Winnipeg has been able to best the BC Lions both times. But in this case, Winnipeg is winless at the moment through their first 2 weeks of the season. I don't believe Zach Collaros even has a passing touchdown in that time, and the Lions need to be able to win this to get back to having a winning record. And I think looking at this, BC really looking to make a statement at the start of the year and possibly see themselves take advantage of Winnipeg's misfortune, and maybe if things go well for them, are able to go on and claim the regular season division title. This one will also be interesting as well because I believe Brady Oliveira may miss out on this one. Dalton Schoen is set to return at the moment, and then I think Johnny Augustine, of course, will start for Oliveira. I am thinking in this game, what's going to come down to is if Winnipeg is able to get things clicking offensively early on, and Schoen has been able to prove before that he's been able to toast this BC secondary. And for this one, I'm going to be picking the Blue Bombers. I, as a Lions fan, would like to be able to pick BC, but if we're being honest, they haven't been able to get the job done before. Winnipeg needs this win drastically. BC, of course, does too, but the Blue Bombers have only lost 4 times in the past 4 or 5 seasons at home. They're not about to make it number 5. Sorry, I don't know if it's like the heat or whatever, but I feel like my tongue is swollen really bad. But the third game of the week is going to be Edmonton traveling to Toronto. And this is fun. Again, I hate to say it, but I love the league. I love getting to talk about the CFL. You have the return of so many Toronto players to Toronto as they come from Edmonton, and you have guys like McLeod Bethel-Thompson, Boris Beatty, Javon Leake, so many names, Curly Gittens Jr. I mean, we could probably go on and on and on, and they are searching for their first win of the season. This one's really tough because you have McLeod Bethel-Thompson be able to throw the ball really well at points. They've been able to score some points, but they haven't been able to pick up a win. Meanwhile, Toronto's been able to have that week 1 victory that was a big win over the Lions, and if they get a win here, it continues to kind of stay at the top of the East and be right there within striking distance of teams like Ottawa and Montreal. So this game could be big for Chris Jones's job security, but especially for the Argos to say, yeah, we can still take care of the teams that could be below us. And for that reason, I'm going to be picking the Argonauts, as they have been able to consistently get the job done over the past 3 seasons. They still have a group that I feel really confident in, and I am excited to see Jake Serezna, especially for Toronto, guys like Florida Merlade, get after McLeod Bethel-Thompson, because the offense for Edmonton has had some issues with turnovers and things of that nature. You have seen games, or have you seen moments early in the year where MBT has been sacked? Maybe it's been some of his decisions and whatnot, but a game in Toronto where the Argos should be able to go on and win this. I'm hoping for a competitive one. I really would like to see Edmonton win it and not have to start off the year really slow, where they're trying to find that first win, maybe like week 8 or week 9. But I would say that Dukes could have a field day here. And then the final game of the week, you have the Hamilton Tiger Cats traveling over to Saskatchewan to play the Rough Riders in a back-to-back. And this one is fun because Hamilton is looking for their first win, whereas the Riders are looking for their third in 3 games. I really am hoping for another doozy, as the previous game between these two, Hamilton looks set to go out there and win it, as they had a double-digit lead with like 3.5 minutes left to go in the game before they ended up seeing the Riders go on to win that one on their home field. Meanwhile, now you are in Saskatchewan, and I really am curious to see how things will play out, because the Riders have AJ Ouellette, and he has got less than 35 yards rushing in both of those games, hasn't got over 15 carries, but you have seen Trevor Harris be able to go out there and throw the ball well. And you have a Saskatchewan defense that is going to be trying to contain Bo Levi Mitchell after he threw for nearly 400 yards in the previous game. And I think for this game, I'm probably going to go Hamilton, even though I feel like Saskatchewan, and people are probably wondering, why would you go against a team you're feeling like could win it, especially for a team that is winless? I think it's because Hamilton needs a win. They can't go 0-3 and see all these teams out east be able to get off to relatively good starts and say, yeah, well, we're going to come back and get to where we can make the playoffs. No, you have to take advantage of things early, and they were in the spot where they could have beat the Riders last week. And if you're looking at the Riders, the first 2 games that they won, they were down by double digits in those games. Not necessarily saying this is going to be the case in this game, but can you really rely on them to continuously play from behind by bigger deficits and to go out there and win it? My thing is, probably not. And with back-to-backs, you typically see, or it seems like you see, a team that is lost the first game go on to win the second. Is that necessarily going to be the case? Probably not, but I do feel like the Riders are in a spot where they could take the Tiger Cats for granted and they end up losing. In my final picks for the week will then end up being the Alouettes, the Blue Bombers, the Argonauts, and then the Tiger Cats. Now, Tiger Cats here, Hamilton, if you will, is a team that in recent years I feel like I've overvalued them, so I'm waiting for this one to come back and bite me. But if you see a team like Saskatchewan, they're going to be looking at the Winnipeg, BC game as well, saying, man, it would really be beautiful if we won against Hamilton, and then we saw the Lions and the Blue Bombers tie, and then I don't think Calgary plays this week. We need to get a 10th team. Keep saying it over and over and over again, but we're going to be watching these games this weekend, as I don't believe I have a whole lot going on. I'm sure I do, but we will see at that point. What are your picks for this week? Who do you think will win and why? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe and have a great night.